Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. You're now rocking to the sounds and vibrations of your boy, DONKILAM, also known as Kilam. As always, prosperity is your divine birthright. Always got news you can use. You feel me? You can't lose with the shit I use. You follow me? I'm not a licensed attorney or tax expert. I do this for educational and informational purposes only. Where do I want to start today? Everything is a tax issue. Everything is taxes. Okay? Let's start there. I'm going to go there. Because if you take a look at 28 U.S.C. 3002, we're going to start at subsection 2, right? Court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States Tax Court. This is a federal statute, okay? So this is considered federal law. I don't like to say it's law because the supreme law of the land is considered a constitution or natural law or common law. Common law is truly the law of the republic, okay? Universal law is real law. You know? There's different types of laws. Think about it. You've heard of Murphy's Law. You know, karma is a universal law. Gravity is a universal law. So I just want to break down, people need to have an understanding of law when they're coming into this. Excuse me, I need something to drink. So that's what we're going to go over today. You have identity, status, and then standing. So what do you identify as? Because under 15 U.S.C. 4724E1, this is another federal statute, federal law. 15 U.S.C. 4724E1, the term United States business means a United States citizen. So if you voluntarily state that you're a U.S. citizen, this is going to make you part of United States business. I hope this makes sense for everybody. There is such thing as a national versus a citizen. That's the difference. The term national means a person owing permanent allegiance to a state. 8 U.S.C. 1101 A21. So, I need everybody to understand when you can only control what you create. That's the number one rule in commerce. You can only control what you create. You can only control what you create. So, when you're using their documents, when you're using their certificates, when you're using their forms, you're voluntarily placing your essence on what they think is their property into their jurisdiction, so to speak. Now they believe they have rights over you. Now they believe they have some type of control over you. There's certain laws you can be under. You can be under. So you got to think about this. And I like to use the Amish, okay? Because everybody keeps chasing this Social Security number. They keep chasing this birth certificate. They're not using it correctly. Use it like the government would use it. There's no government official chasing the Social Security number. They're working for corporations that you volunteer that information to. So you can create these corporations as well. You can create your own car lots. You can create your own courts. You can create your own corporations. You got to understand, when you get fined at a job, that's a form of court. And that's what's going on. They're saying you work for the... When you have a state ID or a driver's license, that's like being an employee for that state. You've clocked in now. When you show it, when you register your car, you've clocked in. You've clocked in. You're using government assets. Regis means king. So yes, when you register your car, it's the government assets. When you register your kids at a school, it is now the government assets. That's why you can go to jail if your kids are truant, because that's now government property. United States citizen means United States business. 15 U.S.C. 4724E1. 15 U.S.C. 4724E1. The term United States business means a United States citizen. Yes, I can't make this up. So, I want to bring up different types of law that you may not be aware of, and how it's, you got to understand, when it comes to the government, it's private families. You got to remember, you could have been from the tribe of Judah and the house of Jacob. So you got to understand, the houses make up the tribes. The houses make up the government. Government and tribe can be synonymous. You can interchange these words. Government tribe, government church, government assembly, government family. Private families create the government under a form of amalgamation. And it's your family makes up the government too, but you're subject to the family as a United States business. You're subject to that United States business now. Because you got to understand title. Your title can be king, but when you're identifying with a birth certificate, when you're identifying with the Social Security trust number as you, that's making you a royal subject, a royal slave. That's putting you a slave to the United States system. Amalgamation is a combination of two or more companies into a new entity. And that's what happens with you. You've given up all your rights. You've signed all these documents. You've given up all your rights to these different companies. And I just need you to understand this. Being private is being sovereign. That's all it's about. Learning how to operate in a tax-free position and remaining private and handing down wealth tax-free. When you die, you can hand down your wealth either publicly or privately. You're going to have to go through the probate system. You have to go through the court system if you're utilizing things such as your Social Security number to get a car or to get a house. Then it has to go through the court system. So that gives true legal title to the government. You have equitable title, and then you have legal title. Paying taxes is not for everyone. All courts are tax courts. When you find yourself in a court situation, when you find yourself dealing with a court, it's a tax issue because you're operating as the beneficiary of the Sesta KVI trust, which is the Social Security trust. I'm hoping this makes sense. Make sure y'all text Private Life to 702-200-4900. Again, text Private Life to 702-200-4900 because y'all want to tap into the private school. The private school with your boy DONKILAM, my drop game. This is going in the private school. That's what this video is actually for. Shout out to my students. And we also have an event coming up November 14th, 2025. Link is in the bio on the Instagram. It's also in the school. Make sure y'all tap in and tune in. It's in Atlanta. All right? Atlanta, Georgia. I'll see y'all in Atlanta November 14th and November 15th. We got private trustee training going on the 15th, and we got open networking. Y'all come just tap in. I know people come to me every day and they say, Don, you're the only one I can talk to about this stuff. I can't talk to nobody. They don't want to level up with me, Don. I try to tell my mom she don't want to listen. I try to tell my brother he don't want to listen. I try to tell my uncle he don't want to listen. Don't nobody want to listen. I say, listen, ain't nobody going to listen. Just make sure you put in the work. Actions speak louder than words. When they see you winning, they're going to come follow along. He's already a winner, though. But it's like, you just got to do what you do, you know? So your wife still believes in you. She might not understand this stuff, but she still believes in you. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep stacking that paper, you know? And that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. But make sure y'all tap in, man. Y'all want to be there in Atlanta, Georgia, November 14th and 15th. Now, when you're a Muslim, because it's like church versus state, right? You fall under something called Sharia law, but you can't prove that you're a Muslim because when you have a birth certificate, this is putting you under a Roman slave status. A Roman slave status when you're utilizing this birth certificate. So this is what's important with baptismal certificates, all right? Now, Sharia is the religious law of Islam, derived from the Quran. So you got to understand that they say in God we trust, but that's the name of the trust. The Bible's a fact in the courtroom. You can use the Bible, but I need you to understand when you're using a birth certificate, you're a Roman slave. You can use a baptismal certificate as identity and commerce. What do you think the Amish use? You can use something called family Bibles. You can use something called affidavits of birth. You can get a passport with the affidavit of birth. There's a form called affidavit of birth. You attach your affidavit of birth with it. With the passport, just Google affidavit of birth, passport. You can use baptismal certificates to get a passport. Yes. Yes, a lot of people don't even know this. A baptismal certificate is powerful in commerce. You don't have to get a birth certificate, all right? That's putting you in commerce. A certificate of ownership is what it's for. If you're Jewish, you come from the Jewish aspect, the Jewish religion. It's called Bet Din. This is a Jewish court, all right? Everybody has a different courts. If you're part of a tribe, they have their own tribal courts. You have a right to be seen by a jury of your peers. And that's how stuff works. And when you keep working to the higher ups, it's called the High Courts of Justice in England. And this is just for royalty. This is just for, they have a King's Bench division, the Family division, and the Chancery division. And when I say Family division, I need y'all to understand, family court is important, all right? Family court is the most important court of it all. But you have to prove you are part of a family. When you're using a birth certificate, you're part of a slave family, all right? All right? Royalty did not hand down birth certificates, all right? You got to understand, the United States, they cannot hand down patents of nobility. So you'll never be noble. You'll never be considered royalty. And I need y'all to know, only the strong survive. Everybody's got royal blood if they're still living out here in America. Understand this. Family law is a branch of private law. Family law is private law. And a lot of people do not understand that. What family are you part of? You can't say you're part of the United States family. When you have a birth certificate, that's a voluntary slave status. When you use the Social Security number, use the state ID, these are voluntary slave statuses. You're not part of a private family. You're not part of a private club. Look up if the KKK has their own cards. That's a private family. Look up at the Freemasons if you don't know who the Freemasons are, if they have their private membership cards. Look up who the Moors are, the real Moors. The Moors, they have private membership cards. Everybody, the higher ranking ups, have private membership cards. What organization are you part of? What brotherhood are you part of? What family are you part of? What tribe are you part of? And a lot of people don't understand the private versus the public. They're still lost because they're listening to some guru on the internet. Hey, DONKILAM's on here, but DONKILAM is dropping you game right now. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. All you have to do is sit down, smoke a blunt, and think this through. It's common sense, ladies and gentlemen. It's common sense. Drop a 100 or fire emoji if you follow along so far. Family law is private law. How do I know what part of the family? We used to have crests. We used to have royal crests or royal family flags. You know, the family crest. How do you know when you're a man? A lot of people don't even hand this down to their children no more. They don't know that when they're a man no more. They don't. There's no reward in the family. Here, I'm handing this to you, son. You're a man now. You understand? That's what we used to do. So you have Sharia law if you're part of the true Muslim family. All right, that's the Islamic culture. Bet then. All right. Peace and love, peace and love. Then we got tribal courts. You have the right to be seen by a jury of your peers. You got to understand this shit is a game. They're a member. They're family. The Bar Association is a family. There's no such thing as a license to practice law. Attorney means to turn over. You need to learn these words too, these key words. Attorney, a turn means to turn over rents or goods. All right? A lot of people don't even know this. I'm gonna drop y'all some key words that y'all need to understand. Attorney is one of them, though. Attorn or attorney. Creator. Creator is a good one because the birth certificate proves who your creator is. Who is your manufacturer in commerce? This is like a certificate of goods. Like, hey, this is. Look at your car title. It shows who the ownership is, but it has the state on it. So it truly belongs to the state. So a car title and a birth certificate is very similar. and it's proven. They stamp the foot. That's the description of the baby. You don't weigh 7 pounds, 6 ounces no more, but you're still identifying with this document because it's proven. They want you to identify with it because it's proven that they own this shit. It's proven that they own you because you're identifying with it. As soon as an officer sees that you're identifying with a state ID, they can arrest you. They understand that you're government property now. You're state property now. If they don't have an ID, you're considered a foreign national out the gate. You're considered foreign if you don't have no ID. But you see how ICE out here now. Shit. You might want to keep that state ID. But no, just up. The main thing is making sure you update your status correctly. So a turn means a turn or transfer homage and service from one lord to another. To render homage and service to a lord. Attorney, to transfer, to turn. One who is appointed or admitted in the place of another to transact any business for him. So, before I get off here, I want y'all to hear this. Redemption. Look up the word redemption. Redemption is repaying the fixed income security when or before it matures. Redemption may trigger capital gains or losses for an investor. Redemption also applies to coupons and gift cards. You can redeem coupons, and that's what's going on. True redemption is redeeming your bonds and coupons when you understand that your name is a business. And with that, I'm out, man. That was my child calling me, so I got to get back to that, man. Much peace and love. Tap in with your boy, DONKILAM. Text Private Life to 702-200-4900. Again, text Private Life to 702-200-4900. Much peace and love.